Hi, I'm Brien Lundin, and I'm here at the Metals Investor Forum backstage interview with Impact Silver and its CEO, Fred Davidson. Fred, we were talking during the MIF yesterday about the unique and really exciting attributes that Impact brings to the market. Silver, as we know, and as I've told people over and over again, first off, if you like gold, you have to love silver because silver offers innate leverage to gold. It's like a non-expiring option on gold. So if you can get higher performance through silver, and then if you go into the silver equities, and especially the junior equities, you get leverage on top of silver. And then in those junior silver equities, if you can find one that has that's a marginal producer, has a relatively high cost base, then as the silver price rises, you get much more torque because the earnings for that company rise so much more quickly than if it were a low cost producer. So you have leverage on top of leverage on top of leverage on top of leverage. And that's one of the key aspects of Impact. It is really a company that if you could build one, if you could go down and build a checklist of everything you want in a truly leveraged silver production play, that would be it. And in other aspects, even exploration potential. So if I haven't said everything you wanted to say about Impact Silver, let me give you a little room there to provide your own comments and see if you disagree with anything I just said.
No, you're right. One of the things we are a very pure silver play. Over 90% of our revenue is from sale of actual silver as opposed to equivalents. So that makes us very sensitive to the price of silver. And you're right too. This is underground mining. It's tough. It's hard. We're very competent at what we do, but even then, it is a high-cost mining game. And going forward, we're making certain efficiencies, but these things take time and place. What I think is interesting, and as you mentioned, the exploration, is we really have two stages of exploration here. One, we have sort of near to production exploration, and that is we can expand the current mill activity by about 200 tons a day, which is about 1/3 increase over the next 6 months. And that's a process of reopening more marginal mines, putting them back into production. The other area we can work on is what we call the Capire, which is a volcanogenic massive sulfide in the south of the property. It's a 200-ton-a-day mill. We built it as a pilot plant to test this open pit. We got it up and operating. Metallurgical work was done. We did about 33,000 tons. And if you'll recall back when the price of silver went crazy up to over 30, looked great. Price of silver fell down below 17. This was a fairly high cost operation as well. At $17, $18, it started to hurt. So we had to shut it down. In the interim, we've been working on metallurgical recoveries, and we're working right now in a very advanced stage of a thing called dense media separation. And that allows us, it looks like, to be able to drop the operating costs there $3 or $4 an ounce. So it looks attractive at the $17 now, but it's looking very attractive at $27. And it's one of those that we see as near exploration come development come production situation. There's a mill on site. We'd probably have to spend about $400,000 to put it back into operation. If we did the DMS, it would be a couple of million, but again, you get improved margins and a redefinition of ore, which would expand what we currently have. So that's the exciting part on the near production situation. The other side of it is the property is 221 square kilometers. It's the second oldest mining district in all of Mexico.
Yeah, they've been mining there for a little while, huh?
Yeah, 1527 is the earliest record of mining in the district. So I guess that's fairly early while. And you can still see it. I mean, there's 42 old ruins that were old mills, what have you, right back to the date of the conquistadors. We found over 5,000 old workings, underground workings, mines, what have you. and we still haven't explored the majority of the property. So it's a pretty active program. That tends to be longer term, but this is a property with elephants. It's had a history of very big production. Its neighbor is Tasco, which is a very famous silver mine and probably the only earlier mine than our mine in the district. And the end result is the silver production has historically been there for 500 years, and we've been there for 13, 14 years now producing. We produced about 10 million ounces. But gold, and that is we're now working into a district within the district called Villa de Oro, and we didn't make up that name. It's a traditional, very old Spanish name, Valley of Gold. And we found a very large high mag anomaly in the basement of a valley. And from that, we're just getting into exploring both disseminated gold, large-scale disseminated gold targets to the south of that, and tight but very high-grade gold targets to the north of that.
So,
sorry.
Yeah, so looking at, okay, so you've got silver production and your earnings are rapidly increasing, or your margin is rapidly increasing with the silver price. You've got that leverage, but you're also in a position now, because you're actually making money, to do some of these things where you can reopen new mining facilities, increase production, ramp up production as the gold price goes up, and undertake some of this exploration, both near mine and more distal and targets that have just been waiting there, but you really haven't had the funding before to do it, have you?
That's right. I mean, we've basically taken our money and put it back into the ground whenever it looks like we've got positive cash flow. And we've had positive cash flow for the last year. But when you're talking the size of property we've got, it's spending pennies per hectare. And this thing really deserves a lot more attention. And as we talked about the other day, we've announced we're doing a $7 million raise to accelerate that whole program, because it's very nice to generate profits, and we certainly do profits and work with them. But the other side is we've been sitting on this project. We haven't given it the love and attention it truly deserves, and we're going to make sure that happens over the next couple of years.
And that's going to multiply the potential, again, is from new discoveries, increased production, and leverage on silver. Fred, a great story. You've made a lot of money for our gold newsletter readers, so thank you for that, since we added it to our portfolio. But I'm more excited, frankly, even though you've made a lot of money for our readers, I'm more excited about what's in the future as you put all this money to work in a rising silver price environment. So thanks so much for bringing us up to date on Impact Silver. The symbol is IPT on the Venture Exchange. So everybody should take a hard look at it. Great days ahead.